Hi, I'm Jeff Smith from Trout Magnet. This is how you set up your Zebco 33 micro trigger and start catching fish. When you open up your rod, the first thing you do is you put your reel on your rod. You loosen up the handle like this and you slide the reel into the bottom. Once there's enough space here, we tighten it down as tight as it can go. And I want to make sure whatever side I have my handle on, the other side is tight as well with my reel. So you take the tip, line up your guides, and push the top section on. Line it up and push it in hard. The reason you do that first is because now we can pull the telescoping part out. Now I'll take it here and I'll loosen it, and I'll pull it with my guides lined up, and I'll pull it out until it's tight. The next thing you'll do is you'll want to cut off the line holder that's prevented the line from going back into the reel. So we'll cut that off, and now with the button pressed, we're going to put the line all the way through all of the guides. Once your line is completely through all of your guides, I will close the bail by reeling one time. Now my line won't come out. I'll lay my pole down. Now we're going to put the Trout Magnet system together. The Trout Magnet system together is made up of 3 parts. The easy trout float, which I'll usually put on first, up the line about 2 feet. You pull the stopper out and you put the line through the slot in the float. Then I take the peg and pinch the line to the inside of the float very lightly. You don't put it in hard, just lightly put it in. Now the line is stuck to your float. The next thing I'll put on will be the Trout Magnet. The Trout Magnet comes pre-rigged in here, but if not, the hook and body go together just like this, nice and straight. Then I take my line and I tie a regular fishing knot. We're going to tie an improved clinch knot to this, but any knot with a good twist will work for putting the Trout Magnet to the line. Spin it several times with your improved clinch knot. Put it through the first loop. Once you've done this, you've created another loop to put it back through. And now before I completely make it tight, I wet the line because this line is very light and you don't want it to burn as you pull this knot down. As I pull the knot down, I pull it as tight as I can. And once the knot is tight against the lure, then I'll take and I will trim my tag end off. The only thing left in our system is adding the split shot. Split shot is usually around 12 inches above the Trout Magnet. You want it to be about 12 inches so that way it doesn't interfere. You take your split shot, put it on your line, use a pair of pliers and pull it tight. Trying not to squeeze it too tight to break the line, but snug enough that it won't move. Now all I'm going to do is move my easy trout float the depth that I'm fishing. If I look and the water looks 3 feet, I'll fish 3 feet. If it looks a foot, I'll only fish a foot above the Trout Magnet. I want my Trout Magnet to drift right along the bottom. Now my system is ready to go to catch a trout. The system works best when you drift it naturally in a stream or get it close to the depth in a lake. And here we're looking, it looks to be about 3 to 4 feet deep, so we've set our float that deep. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast upstream and drift naturally as I can. If I don't get a bite, I'll go deeper on my float and try to get closer to the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll reel up pretty close to the end of my rod tip with my float and I'll depress the trigger. Now this is ready to cast. When I let go of the trigger, you'll see my lure will go down, okay? So I want to click it back in, and when I get ready to cast, I'm going to press the trigger and bring it behind me. I like to stop behind me, that way I can control my cast. When I go forward, I let up on the trigger as it gets in front of me, and that's what lets the line go out. Now I'm going to drift it naturally along the bottom and try to catch a trout. The 6'6" rod is perfect for fighting these trout and other small species on 4-pound test. A lot of times rods are too short and it puts too much pressure on your line. But if you notice on the 6'6" fiberglass rod, this fish is getting worked really good with this light line. If the rods are shorter, a lot of times it'll put a lot of pressure on those knots. Now good luck with your Zebco 33 trigger combo and the Trout Magnet system. For more information on how to fish this rod and reel and the Trout Magnet system or any of the Zebco products, visit zebco.com/academy. Soar lip 'em all.